Hey everyone, whoever's here already and whoever's showing up, good evening, afternoon, etc. Wherever you are, I assume everywhere it's probably at least afternoon by now, or maybe early morning in some places. But a little bit on schedule. I ended up getting back a little later than I wanted this evening since we were playing a game of Star Realms, if you've played that game before, and it went way too long, and we ended up having to cut it a little bit short still, and I still got back later than I planned, so we're a few minutes behind schedule here. But anyways, I don't know if my eye looks messed up or not. It's been very itchy all day for some reason. I could not tell you what happened, but otherwise, I'm doing fine. And I'll give it another couple minutes for people to get notified, etc., and then we'll get started. So I'll be doing obviously probably another Girls and Panzer character today. I'll let anybody who wants to make a suggestion, obviously, like we've done before. And I was planning to do a members watch along stream later, but I might be pushing that off since my eye is kind of bothering me and looking at a screen for an hour while I have the camera on is probably not the best idea right now. But drawing stream, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So yeah, that's that. I hope some of you, at least those of you who've seen Yamato 2199, checked out the new video. It took a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm also glad I was able to get it clear of content ID claims without too much of a headache, considering how long the video is and all that. But happy with how that came out. I'm happy it seems to be doing, relatively well, considering it's kind of outside my usual topic here. And I assume the mic is working. I think it's working. It tells me it is. So the funniest thing I noticed is that when I looked at the analytics today, and I'm sure it's behind. The analytics are behind because the updating of that takes longer than it takes to update just basic views and stuff. But when I looked at it, it was hilarious because you get 100% of the viewers were male, which is not too surprising considering military-related anime topics. And the surprising part was 100% viewership of 55 to 64 age, which is very bizarre, and it cannot be accurate, or at least can't be accurate beyond the first 5 minutes of the video being live. But unless there are that many Yamato fans who are that old checking out videos on it on YouTube. The weather here is terrible. It's getting to be summertime, so it's in the mid to high 80s and very humid. The middle of Israel time of year is very humid. That's why I don't want to live here forever. I want to move somewhere else in the country where it's a little bit nicer and less humid. But indoors it's fine because air conditioning is the best invention of all time. So, also, I don't know if you noticed on this video too, I'll start getting the art stuff prepared here while I blabber on, that I started using for the first time, trying out YouTube's auto dubbing feature, which would let you, in certain languages, it lets you to automatically dub it. And so I enabled that for my Yamato video, and I have seen, at least in the reporting, that's probably incorrect now because it was probably not updated yet. It was a significantly higher percentage of Japan-based viewers, which is interesting. So I hope that means some of them have seen it in the dub. I hope the dub is not terrible considering it's automatic and all that. But I'll probably use that on other videos in the future, just because I might as well make it available to people in other languages if they want to listen in that way, and obviously if the dub is halfway decent. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of it's bad, but it's free and it's there, so I figure I might as well use it. I'm sure it'll also get better over time. And when I listened to a few minutes of the Japanese dub of myself, it didn't sound terrible. I mean, I caught a few words that were definitely correct, but I don't know that many words in general, so I couldn't tell you beyond that. So, but yeah, so let's see. Let me switch the cameras now to get to the art stuff. Welcome to everybody who's joined us in the last minute or so. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the stats look in the future once I get to that. Actually, I should flip this around. Why did it not turn? Okay, let's flip that. There we go. So you can see right side up when I'm drawing. It can be. I didn't have one particular in mind, so if that's the only suggestion I have so far, I may as well. And I've drawn Koromami in a uniform before, so it wouldn't be that hard. Okay, that was another random art, and this is obviously the finished Irwin sketch that I didn't finish in time for the thumbnail, but I finished it in time to post before this stream, so I am happy about that. So yeah, I did in the middle of this. I did one hand practice day. So actually, what day am I up to now? I want to date myself correctly. Day 198. Oh, that also means we're pretty close to maybe I'll do another update video at 200. I haven't really thought about it, but I could do one at 200, and then the next one will be at a full year's worth. So let me know if you'd like to see that. There's a huge amount of new stuff in Stay 100. Because I'm doing a lot of like multi-day sketches. So there's not as many new things, but there is obviously stuff to show. Just bleed over from the pencil. I'm also going to hopefully be getting a pen to use for like the line art at some point. I don't have to use like very dark pencil and then erase a lot of stuff. Should make it easier. The war delayed my relative getting back to the country with it, so it will be a few more weeks till I have that. But that will be coming soon. So yeah, the hat came out I think more or less the right size this time. So we're one for two with hats now. So I will get a reference image. So I have that here since I'm still mostly relying on that. Although, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but one of the characters for an upcoming light novel project of mine or web novel project of mine, rather, I did draw an initial character design, which I gave to my artist, and he's going to be doing the proper character design, but it's heavily based on my sketch. So that's kind of neat that I actually have more of a hand in character creation for this project, at least since I can draw a little bit now. Alright, so I found Kume in here. Let's see if I can find a good reference image to use. Why am I getting ads? Can I get rid of these ads? No. Alright, we'll probably just go with the basic reference image as before. It'll be faster than trying to find a screenshot at the moment. So let's see. Actually, might be a little bit of a challenge because it had the pose here is with hands in front of the body here. So we'll see how that comes out. But it's what we have to work with, so we'll work with it. Let's get started. Alright. Let's make sure I have that there. Wrong pencil. There's the right pencil. So let's get started here. Yeah, I am going to be trying, like I mentioned before, move the microphone so we can more close to my face, to try getting a little bit better at drawing more when I'm not relying on reference images, because obviously, that is a limitation that I'm not happy with it. Obviously, you're a lot more limited if you can't draw stuff from scratch, but it seems to be helping me learn to get a little better, so I'm okay keeping it here for now. I think that's a decent enough starting point. I lost the stream screen here. There we go. I can actually see any chats here. And so we'll try to check back every couple minutes, if not a little more often. We'll see how the drawing itself goes. Still need to get better lighting in here, but that's more concentration. Is it really? Thought we were done with the protests outside, but apparently not. Oh, it's a little messy. Also, once I have a pen, it might be worth trying some drawings just with the pen to kind of force myself to get this a little braver when it comes to just going with the line and not trying to like draw part of the line and the next part of the line. So I think PewDiePie mentioned that in his original drawing videos, that also getting pens kind of was a way to force himself to stop relying as much on being able to erase with the pencil, which obviously is an advantage of a pencil, but it is also a bit of a crutch, I guess you could argue. Oh, yeah, definitely protesting outside tonight. Go there. Is it an EXP thing? What is it, like a chat feature? I don't know about any EXP thing unless it's some kind of chat feature YouTube added, because I didn't change anything as far as I know, apart from enabling that automatic dubbing stuff, which I don't think would be relevant to live stream chat. Wouldn't surprise me if YouTube is trying to, like, I guess, gamify chat participation more, and or maybe compete with Twitch, which has more chat interactive stuff, I think, compared to YouTube. But it's news to me if there's anything. I haven't watched any live YouTube streams in the last week or so. So, yeah, they always seem to be, which makes sense, trying to add more features. Since that, well, yeah, eyes are kind of big in this image, so I think it makes sense. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, I don't know what that EXP means or what it does for your account. Uh, like I said, if it's another feature for YouTube to add to kind of gamify chatting and make it more interactive, I guess it's not a terrible idea. But like I said, I have no idea what you're supposed to get for doing that. So definitely protesting outside. Hopefully they won't go. Well, they'll probably go for the entire stream at this point. It's just not such a long stream I'm doing. Maybe it's for the best. I was already planning on probably pushing off the member stream today, since that might be more annoying if there's any background noise. I'm not sure if you could hear it anyway, but I could hear it. And it's plenty loud. Yeah, ears are something else I have to get more comfortable drawing too. I wonder if that's part of the reason why a lot of anime characters kind of have hair that conveniently covers the ears, because you kind of get away with not having to draw them for those characters at least. It's one less awkward body part that's not as intuitive or not as, I don't know what the word is, not as easy to draw well, along with hands and I guess feet also probably is the same way. Although if the internet's any indication, there's a lot of money in drawing feet these days for some reason. Don't understand that at all. But the internet is what the internet is. Can't understand it. Don't want to understand all of it. Yeah, the noise outside here isn't that bad if they're not doing that. The only other issue I have with noise where I live right now is that for some reason, even at like 1 a.m., when I know there's no cars on the road, somebody still finds reason to honk their horn. And there's really no good reason why. And people just love to honk for no good reason. Well, that's not just a unique thing to hear. I know in New York that happens a lot also, at least in some areas. I know there are areas in New York City where I used to live where you get penalized, you get fines for honking at the wrong hours, if you report it at least. So I don't really encourage that kind of reporting. On the other hand, if it annoys me, then I'm happy to make whoever annoyed me inconvenience further. That's not an option here, though, for sure. Let's keep this going. Your hair is kind of more like wavy-ish, I guess is the right word. It's different, like a different texture almost from a lot of other characters' hair. It feels like, based on how I'm looking at it now, a little more close attention than I have before. It's, it's, yes, it is. It is gourmet. It's still relatively early stages. Hopefully, it'll come out okay. Because like with these kind of hairstyles, like the shorter hair, but it's a little more messy, I guess. They either come easier or they come a lot harder. So it's hard to tell ahead of time how it's going to go. Let's hope it'll be an easier one. Because like it looks simpler, but then you have a lot of like more finer details you kind of need to capture in order to make it, I guess, look how you want, how it's supposed to look. Whereas I guess with like long, like straight hair, it's just very simple in terms of what you have to do, even if it's more hair to draw. Let's see, right height here. Try to get goes a little bit out, kind of a little. She's like kind of like a mini floof, like not a full Yukari floof, but she's got some of that going on. Like, right, not quite a little bit. It's a little bit too wide, I think. Let's keep it a little bit closer. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Should probably draw the neck actually while I'm here before I forget. That does help guide some things as we get further on with the drawing. And I did not forget to try and fix the Dream Tank match stuff. I was planning to hopefully get help from a friend with that computer old hard drive cloning process. And the war broke out, which delayed it, and then I haven't been able to organize anything since then. So hopefully, eventually, or I might just even find a way. If I find a way to just reinstall it, I might be able to locate the old save files on the other hard drive and just manually move those over, so I have those on the computer now. That's really what I want to find because I don't want to have to replay the entire game and unlock everything again, because that would just be a pain in the neck. So I want to get right back into where we left off after having not played the game for a few months and then forget everything and be terrible at it. I guess it makes sense. Mio had a floof friend in Cormoramine, and she has a floof friend in Ori too. So she's magnetically attracted to the floof, I guess. Oh, that's a little too far out again, actually. I'll redo that over here. Don't want it to be too wide a floof effect. Trying to keep it more or less close to the original here. Let's see. There. Curves inward. And we have another little over there. I'll take a look back at the chat again in a minute. Since you guys saw something pop up, but out of the corner of my eye over there. They're kind of symmetrical, I mean, in terms of how much hair there is, but I mean the actual shape of the hair is not symmetrical, at least not in the concept image. Like they have the little piece on the side. On the one side, the other side has just more rounded floof, with like the more curled parts just inside of the hair. Like I might redo some of this a little bit. Let's see. Should also start with some of the uniform, so I have that guideline at least. There we go. This also help me pay better attention to where the hair should be, since you know where the neck is, where the shoulders are. That obviously helps know, if you don't want it to go past a certain point, then obviously don't pass that mark. So this kind of goes down and then around here. Also kind of like just up until, I'll probably bring this side of the hair in a little bit further, but we'll see. It's good for now. I do want to, I think, raise the top of the hair, since I think it was a little bit too low. A little more height for the floof. There, that's a little better, I think. It still can connect down to here. It's been half an hour. Where did the time go? Time just flies sometimes, doesn't it? The collar here. More collar. Or does that look weird? Oh no, it looks okay.
Yeah. Well, not exactly. It's kind of more. Should be more triangle-like, I think. Not quite as low down. Here, it should be more like this. Yeah, that looks a little more like the original. So then here too, it should be also kind of more like to here. Yeah, that looks better. The hand gets in the way on the left side a little bit from this pose that I have for reference here. But we'll manage. I haven't heard anything on that since the initial announcement, but I don't know what the average of time in between announcements to additional news typically is for anime. So wouldn't expect anything soon. I think there was aiming for it to come out. I think next year. I don't know if it was a time given for next year. So I would imagine we'd be seeing something new in the next maybe by the fall, if not sooner. I don't know if there are any big anime events coming up where they would announce anything, or if the Ori big yearly Ori events in the fall. They're probably not going to wait that long to give some more news on it. I don't think. I think the hair needs to be a little bit higher even still. Like if I'm kind of up, like to here even. Up to the top of the no hat to worry about this time, so I don't have to worry about running out of room for that. Yeah, that's a little better. I'll change that in a few minutes. No, they definitely have a few options they can try for future arcs. Like I don't know if I kind of part of me kind of just wants to let the original characters just rest once their main story is done. You can obviously also could theoretically continue with Ori. Just obviously some of the characters have left, but then that would be kind of weird. So I think you're probably better off to either see them, post high school. Which is obviously one option, or some of the new characters. You can even do something like a years later thing, where some of the main characters are now older, and then there's like a new um, underdog school coming up, and they end up involved in like coaching or something, which could be neat. But I think it'd be better to keep the older characters as like cameo appearances in any kind of new, whether it's a sequel series or a spin-off series, just because you see often enough in different franchises, just like where it just never seems to end, and it becomes like too much. Then you have more chance of something bad coming down the line that kind of ruins something from the original. So you don't really want to risk that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, as long as it's making money, they're going to make more. But obviously, there is. Well, also, yeah, there definitely is the international stuff because they did name drop that a little bit at one point. Like in their film, they talk about how there's going to be an international tournament coming up, which is part of why they were willing to let. One of the arguments for saving Ori, and obviously having the big, big battle with the university team. But I don't know if they said if the international thing was supposed to be high school or college. If it's going to be college, and obviously that would be a thing you could do with either the original cast again or just new characters in a college setting. If it's going to be high school, then obviously you'd have to either um, keep some of the older characters around for that, or just follow completely new characters or another school. Even I mean, you could obviously follow another school, or even make up a new school we haven't seen yet. I don't think there's any schools that have been name dropped in the show that we haven't seen yet. There might be. I'm not sure. I know we saw a bunch of the new ones that were mentioned that we've not seen before in Dust Finale, either in one of the short bits of battle, in one of the interlude parts, or in the Commander War OVA where all the team captains were meeting. So we met a bunch of them there. And also there was that Swiss school that has no team, but had someone there as like an observer, which is obviously a Switzerland neutral joke, as well as obviously potentially a new team that might join at some point, and that could be obviously a focal point for a new show or something. Let's see. Well, who's graduating? I know Katusha's graduating. A few members of ORY are graduating. Miho and Anglerfish are all not graduating yet as of DOS finale. So they have one more year, in ORI theoretically that could do something with. Who else? Yeah, Katusha's graduating, I believe. I don't have any other. Darjeeling is graduating, I think. I don't know. I know she's basically handpicked Alice as her successor for the school, but I'm not sure if that means she's leaving just yet. No, I'm not sure she is. I think she said she wanted to win one more time, or she wanted to win before she graduated. I think it was a quote in DOS finale somewhere that she said that, which would indicate that she is graduating by the end of that. So Gloriana's going to have some new school set up, obviously, with different commander and all of that. But beyond them, I don't know who else would be an obvious choice. So people we already know, schools we've already seen that would be candidates for a follow up or a spin off in high school. And again, obviously, if even for most of those characters, we only really have one more year's worth of them, doing high school set show before they graduate as well. So they definitely have a bunch of options. It's just a matter of where they think stories should go, and obviously what they think will be more popular in terms of what the fans want to see. So it could be we have a lot of obviously there's also some other manga material they could adapt as well if they feel like it. That I haven't really looked into that closely, but I know it exists. Not the bad one, not the Dojin, obviously. I'm talking about like the other Saga of Pravda stuff, or the the one where they have a tankathlon in it. So, also I imagine too, how based on how well the MLLSD adaptation goes, will determine a little bit at least, have some impact on what they do, if anything, with other manga related things. Well, that's what the MLSD is basically gonna be slice of life stuff, I think, because it's like a comedy gag manga anyway. So, if that does well, I imagine they would be open to that. Kind of like we had the Licorice Recoil slice of life shorts recently, which were very very funny and very good. If you like the original season one, you should definitely check that out, because the best part of that show really is just the character interactions, and that's basically all that those shorts were. They did announce another like another project for that. I don't know if it's been a season two officially or just something else. But but yeah, so I mean, obviously, like I said, with characters, shows that have characters that are very fun to just watch interact with each other. Slice of life stuff can do very well. But usually, that's kind of like secondary content as opposed to like the main show or whatever. If that makes any sense. So yeah, it's hard to say what they're gonna do. Like I said, it probably a lot depends on the money because it is a business after all. Whether we like that or not, just how anything entertainment wise operates. But clearly, Girls and Panzer is doing well enough, whether between the overseas stuff and obviously Japan itself, and obviously it's good for Ori's economy and Ori itself. The city, I'm sure, wants to continue because that'll help ensure that tourists keep coming for that. Like I know I want to go at some point. It's a question of expense and time to make that pilgrimage one day, but it will happen. It's a question I like for it to happen before DOS finale ends, just in case the show does more or less come to an end there, that I have a chance to go in case things do start, winding down to a degree. But like I said, I'm sure the town very much wants it to continue for economic reasons, since it clearly hasn't been. Like from what I understand, it's been a very positive interaction with them and the fans so far. I think people have been respectful and all that, and I think it's also encouraged some younger people to actually move there, like in Japan and Japanese people. Obviously, I'm talking about because it is very hard in Japan, from what I understand, to get people to move out of Tokyo or Kyoto or other big cities, and having a draw like Girls and Panzer, that I guess there are fans there who were inspired to move to Ori because of the show. Obviously, will help revitalize what otherwise is probably an aging community. So, and obviously, the more the show lasts longer, then obviously there's more people who might see it and get inspired from an active show versus a show that's wound down and kind of concluded its run basically. The hand's not terrible actually. Wow. Getting a little bit better at these hands. It's kind of like partially bent fingers. It's a little bit easier, I think. Probably a little small, but not the worst. Yeah, you can't not hear of that war crime manga, and if you're a fan of the show long enough. I mean, obviously, whether you look at it or not is a different question. I have not looked it up because I have no interest in that for various reasons. But I mean, there's, between some memes that pop up and other people reference it in videos, whatever, it's impossible to not know that it exists. But yeah, so that's just the nature of anything anime related. There's always gonna be that kind of content. Can't avoid it. Well, can't avoid it existing rather. Like Rule 34 is a thing for a reason. Like it should not even worth trying. I know there are some creators who try and prevent that. I know actually the only time that it's successful actually I think is with the other big hype thing now, which is Uma Musume, the horse girl game, and obviously the show itself too. I know there's strict rules from many of the owners about not safe for work stuff involving the horses, and there's like the rumors of Yakuza getting involved with people who don't listen to that. I'm not sure how accurate that is. It's kind of like a funny meme though. But in those cases, they do seem to be at least some of the official sites. I think like art sites do enforce the no NSFW policy for some of the characters. I don't know if it's some of them or all the characters because they're based off real horses, obviously. I have considered playing that on stream. I don't know if anybody has interest in that, but it is a big hype game right now, and it is essentially just a cute girls doing cute things property, which I do enjoy, even though it's not a military related one. It's still close. It still just looks pretty fun and wholesome. Although it is a gacha game, which I don't really have time to grind another one with already Azerlane in my life. But I guess I could try it on a stream at some point. I think that's on Steam now.
so I won't have to worry about an emulator or anything like that to play it. So I guess let me know if there's any interest. I'll even make a post about it on the community tab if anybody has interest in me streaming that at some point in the near future. It's kind of getting to start here. But I was saying, so that property, there were like, it's like the only time that I've heard where people involved with it to one degree or another are capable of preventing NSFW from existing, whereas everybody else, it's just best to just, if you don't want to see it, if your own property, whatever, just ignore it. Like, I'll probably just do that if and when my stuff gets popular enough, anybody decides to do that with my characters, because it does mean that you have a certain measure of popularity if there are, artists and fans willing to make that happen. So it's a good sign, I guess, of a healthy or a somewhat healthy fan base, at least in terms of size. And obviously, and you could choose to avoid it or not. I guess if you're the creator of the property and all that. So, like, I will probably be avoiding any of that if it ever happens to my characters. But there are creators who enjoy seeing that kind of art of their characters. So to each their own, basically. But it's also not something I'm gonna actively. I'm not gonna tell people don't draw it, because A, freedom of expression for art, and B, if I wanted to stop it, I couldn't. If somebody really wanted to do it, like, I think actually one person already did ask for art, like that kind of art of one of my of the characters for one of my projects, and I basically said, if you want to commission it, go ahead. I'm not going to do that. So it's up to the fans that want to commission their own fan art stuff. Oh yeah, the Girls and Panzer gotcha game that I see the official Twitter post about occasionally. Yeah, I have not looked into that. If there's any kind of fan thing for that or anything, probably not. But even so, like I said, I don't really have time for dedicating properly to another gotcha game, just because one already is enough in terms of my time. Although I'm kind of at a point in Azure now where I'm very late game, so there's not a whole lot to do apart from new events when they come out. So I could theoretically, but I have enough things to do on my daily basis that I don't know if I want to take on something else that's kind of like daily chores. We have over 10 minutes left. That's not bad. Thinking, all right. Add one more complete here, even though it's not on the original drawing, because it looks a little too far apart there. Yeah, something like that. And I want to try this other hand while we're here.
Yeah, the uniform's coming out pretty nicely. I think I mentioned in previous streams too that for some reason, clothing has been one of the easier things for me to draw well, at least from a reference. I don't know if there's a reason for that, but I'll take it. Take something, coming a little bit easier than others than not. Kind of like waving the hand here. So this is the cuff. Kind of goes up like that. This perspective is going to be very hard for me to do, I think. But we'll try it. One finger. Two fingers. Three fingers. The lines are all kind of messy here, but that's okay. I'll clean it up like I usually do anyway. Okay, that's not bad actually. My hands, I guess, also are a little bit easier when you have the direct reference to draw on here. This is a little bit off, but that's okay. Yeah, I think it is up there definitely in terms of top uniforms. I don't know if I have a particular favorite that I could name, but definitely has an appeal. I don't know. Well, this is the one I'm drawing right now is the regular one. The Sentinel one that has the red and black. I think I might like a little bit more because this one is just gray and black, which is not bad, but it's not as interesting I think as the red. I think the Gloriana one also the red. I guess makes it pop more. Fix that later anyway. There we go. Maybe most of my drawing time this week will probably be spent working on this some more. Yeah, here, let's move it to better lighting. One of these streams I will get some better lighting. Okay, I have to put something like kind of like right on the side here or like behind me maybe. Like right behind as opposed to like up and behind me, which is a very awkward spot and it's also just like a naked light bulb. So it doesn't really direct the light in a good way. Like the iPad actually might help a little bit because it's a little bit extra light on this side, but right now it's yeah, it's still kind of dark, and my shadow doesn't make it any better. It is. I don't think it is. Unless it changed on me when I didn't look. Um, yeah, when did that happen? It was 1080 when I started the stream. I don't know why it changed. Here, I'll re-edit the size now. That's weird. 'Cause I checked before I started just because I remember from last time.
and somehow it's still changing back on me. It's bizarre. Oh, why can't I resize it? It's a timer from last watch and launch stream. Shrink a little more to fit. Can I shrink it? No, right now it's full screen. Yeah, that's really bizarre. I'm 100% sure I checked before the stream began that it was 1080, and must have changed on me when I wasn't looking somehow. I did have to restart Streamlabs at one point, so maybe that's when it happened. I didn't check it again afterward. It's possible. I don't know why it defaults to this one. Well, to that one. Now it's 1080 again. So I had to resize it all. So you can see decently well. We're almost done with the time, but not quite yet. So let's see what else I can get done in the next couple of minutes. This might be a little bit bulkier. The sleeve. Don't want to mess around too much at the last minute, just for the sake of doing something. Yeah, I can maybe draw in some of the logo here. Little not iron cross. I'm impressed I got away with putting that as a logo and no one got mad. I guess in Japan they don't care. Do they censor the outfit in the German version? I mean, well, there's no official German dub, I don't think. I'm curious. I know they censored some of the songs in the dub. I don't know if it was specifically for Germany or not. Like, I know Erica is a touchy song. But I don't know if the uniform, because it's not, might be just not enough, because obviously it's not, the little silly windmill. So it's not to that level of, concern over there, I guess. Oh, an official one? Like, I don't know. On my end, it says 1080 now, so if it doesn't change on viewing end, then that's a YouTube thing, I guess. I don't know anything else I could do at that point. I guess if it was a German dub that's official, then I guess it must have passed censorship over there. But that's good enough for now. We'll touch it up at a later point as well. Let's see what else. A little bit of skirt back there. The Katusha definitely got muted. That got muted. I think that was a rights issue, not a censorship issue. And they couldn't get the rights to a 70-plus-year-old song somehow for the overseas version of the show. So that got replaced with the Tetris music. And it's really awkward. Like, I've seen the scene with that replaced, and it's like terrible because it kind of has to cut out the singing parts because obviously they're not singing in that version. So it's awkwardly just driving tanks with just music playing for a couple seconds until it gets to the next scene. It's very, very jarring. And Erica got replaced in at least one of the dub versions with another song that I'm forgetting right now. Another German song. I can't remember what the name of it. I've seen it before. And I think that's the only songs that were affected in terms of getting replaced or removed. Anyone else remembers which the other replacement for Erica was, let me know, because I don't remember. I know it was changed, but I can't remember which one. Now, Panzer I think was fine. I remember Erica seeing is in the scene in episode 11, or yeah, where I think 10, 11 or maybe 10, where Erica's attacking Orwai at the beginning of the battle, and Erica plays. I'm 100% positive I remember seeing that it was changed in the dub version, but I don't remember to what. Maybe it was, unless it was Panzer that got changed, but I'm pretty sure it was Erica that got changed. One of the German songs got changed in at least one of the dub versions. I know that for sure. I don't know which one, and I don't know why. It could be politically related reasons, or it could just be rights issue again. Because it's surprising some of these songs do have rights. Like I was looking at some old Japanese wartime songs, and some of them are still under copyright, so you can't just use it for your own thing. I was looking because one of them I want to actually use the tune of for a thing that I wrote for my project, and luckily that one got out of copyright like just a year ago. I think in Japan law, unless someone else buys the rights or gets given the rights, it's 50 years after the creator's death, and it was just past 50 years when I looked it up. So I'm pretty sure I could use it for my thing, and if so, I will be doing that at some point in the future. But I want to confirm it with somebody who actually knows the language and not just relying on Grok on Twitter to translate the screenshot for me. But it's a good sign. So yeah, I don't watch it. I've just seen clips where people use clips and memes, or on YouTube there are clips that people post sometimes. So I've run into them, but I haven't watched it myself for the reasons are, the obvious reason of not watching dubs in general most of the time. I'm not like I'm not gonna yell at anybody who uses dubs because obviously people prefer them sometimes and they're not all terrible. But the Girls and Panzer one did not seem very good from what I've seen, from what I've watched and what I've heard. So I have no interest in that at all. I think part of it, I think the Azerlane dub also was weird. I think the Azerlane dub they tried giving the different ships accents of their country, except for Japan. And it's like if you're gonna give them all accents, give the Japanese ships Japanese accents in English. I mean, it might sound stereotypical, but it's accurate. If you're gonna give the British ships British accent, why not give the Japanese ships Japanese accent? Like that just didn't make sense. That's why I didn't watch that in dub either. I mean, one of the reasons why, just because if you're gonna go that way, do it all the way. Don't half-ass it. So I don't know. That's my opinion on that. But like the Goblin Slayer dub that I saw, like I watched part of a few years ago, was actually not bad. The Freerun dub hasn't seemed bad from the clips that I've seen. So they do exist. Like decent dubs. And I don't know if it's better or worse now than it used to be. Depends on which show, I guess. But yeah. Also, if you want to learn the language, obviously better to watch the original because then you can pick up words here and there and things like that. Yeah, it would make it interesting to have the characters speaking in their LARP language, for lack of a better term. Okay, I think this is not bad for just under an hour. We're right about at the hour mark now. Just about. There's not too much else I can really do beyond starting to touch things up or make some small edits, I think. And at day 1 idea, that means only 2 to tell. I guess I'll probably make sure to finish this sketch before I even potentially film a day 200 update. But I'm hopefully going to make my next video probably next week. A Girls and Panzer 1 again. It's been a few weeks. Then probably more Yamato again. And then I might do this one after that maybe. To kind of alternate a little bit. Since I don't want the channel to be a one-trick pony, but obviously Girls and Panzer is still going to be the main focus, at least for a long time. So I want to make sure that happens. But also, like I said, I want to have some other stuff. If the Yamato does well, the new video seems to be doing pretty well views-wise, then obviously it's another nice thing to find because another show that should have a bigger audience than it does and might have a more passionate audience in overseas. So obviously, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend watching at least $21.99. The later shows are more hit or miss, for lack of a better term, for Yamato, that is.
Like 2202 was not very good, unfortunately. Like, it was not terrible, but it was kind of a hot mess. So yeah, not really required. The next one, 2205 was much better. Not as good as the first one, but still very good. And then the ongoing one now is also probably the closest to the original in terms of quality that it's reached since then. So if you want to watch all of it, obviously you can, but you can also just watch 2199 and call it a day basically. So I'm not trying to making any videos on stuff beyond that, just because 2202 is not much to do videos on that's positive, so I kind of don't want to. But we'll see. If there's any more battles that I can make documentaries about, I might do that also one day, because it was a lot of work, but it was very fun, like I said earlier. And I kind of like indulging my history nerd side. Make that master's degree count for something. And yeah, so we'll see. But I think I'll do it for the stream now. Like I said, I'm probably going to postpone doing any watch along stream I was going to do later. I'll probably do that in 2 weeks maybe, to hopefully have my eye not be itching a lot when that happens. But thank you to whoever was here. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hopefully it was good chatting, and obviously decent drawing watching. And I'll post, hopefully sooner rather than later, like last week, I'll post the initial sketch on the community tab, and then I will post it again once I finish it, hopefully sometime this week. So that'll about do it for now, I think. So hope you enjoyed again. Hope you have a good rest of your evening, afternoon, etc. And hopefully another one of these, if not Dream Tank Match stream, once I get that resolved later this month, maybe. We'll see. So, yep, that's all for now. So until next time.